Hey y'all, it's Jo. Welcome to the Leggy Froggy 2.0 tutorial. If you're looking for the written pattern, the PDF is available on Etsy. That will be linked down below. It's at Jo's Web Crochet, and that is the name of my Etsy store. So it's my very first pattern. It's very simple, very easy, very quick, and I hope you have a lot of fun making it. And if you do, I would love to see a picture of it. So please do find me somehow or send an email and let me see it, because I would love to. Now this is done in blanket yarn with a 6.5 millimeter hook. Now blanket yarn does tend to be a little hard to work with on your joints. So if you'd like to try it in maybe a 8 millimeter instead of the 6.5, go ahead, because I have already made one in the bigger hook, and I think one of my testers did also. So go ahead and try that. Now, if you want to make a little itty bitty Leggy Froggy 2.0, just do it in worsted weight yarn. That's what this is. If you did it in a DK or smaller, you know, just get smaller. But this is the pattern done in a worsted weight with a 4 millimeter hook. Now this measures about 3 by 2.5 inches. This measures about 6 by 4. Somehow it looks a little bigger than that. But you know, they vary in size. I've got plenty of them around. Depends on your tension, depends on the exact size of the yarn. So anyway, that's approximate size for you. And y'all enjoy, have fun, and I'll see you at the end. Supplies needed to make the Leggy Froggy 2.0 are a blanket yarn, squish squish factor 100. You will need, it's a size 6 chenille type yarn. You will need a very small amount of scrap black, either in a DK or worsted. A very small scrap of pink. This is a blanket yarn. You could also use a DK if you want. 6.5 millimeter hook, pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker. Oh, and don't forget the polyfill. And let's start off by making 2 eye sockets. We will start off with a magic ring. This is the way I make mine. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube. If you need to follow someone a little bit slower, I wrap the yarn around 2 fingers, kind of hold on to it with my pinky, and go under this first loop, over the second, and pull up a loop. I grab the yarn again and pull up a loop, and I have my magic ring. We're going to do 8 single crochets in the magic ring. Okay, we have our 8 singles. We're going to pull that magic ring a little tight. You have to watch this blanket yarn. Sometimes it pops on you. Don't pull it too tight just yet. You want to be able to get into this first stitch right here, and that is round 1 on the first eye socket, and we will do 8 single crochets on round 2. So we will just be in a continuous round a spiral here for our amigurumi. And so that's 1, and we'll place a stitch marker there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, and 8. Now we will pop our eye back. Well, let's pull the little circle a little tighter there first. We'll pop our eye out in the right direction. Take off our stitch marker. And this is just a little tip that I do for a lot of amigurumis. So I will slip stitch into that next stitch just so we don't have this big gap right here. It kind of closes off the circle a little nicer. Oops. Do a little slip stitch and chain 1 and cut our yarn. We do not need long tails on this one. And there's our first eye socket. And now we will make another one the exact same way, but we will not be cutting our yarn. So magic circle, or magic ring, whatever you want to call it. Oops. And twist that a little bit. And 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oopsie, 7, and 8. And let's pull that tight. And that was round 1. Round 2, 8 single crochets. 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. Let's mark that first one so we know where we're at when we get around. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We'll finish pulling that middle eye tight there. We're going to take off the stitch marker now. We're going to pop our eye back right side. We can tuck this tail in here. We can try to keep it in there out of our way. And we keep our yarn attached on the second eye socket. Now we're going to start round 3, and that'll be the start of connecting these two and starting our body. So to do that, we are going to chain 1. That's going to be a stitch that we're going to go back into. Kind of gives a little separation in our eyes. Let's see if we can kind of tuck these tails in this other eye to get them out of our way. Hopefully. And we're going to, it doesn't matter which stitch you go into, we're going to go into one, make sure your yarn's in the back, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2. And that is our first single crochet for this round. If we want to mark that right there. Now what we're going to be doing here is we're going to do 8 single crochets around this eye. We're going to do 1 in the middle, and we're going to do 8 single crochets around this eye, and then another one in the middle, and that'll be our last stitch. So we have 1 single crochet here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's 8 single crochets around this eye. We're going to go into, here's our first one, so we're not going to single into there. We're going to go into this middle chain stitch that we made to connect our eyes. We're going to do a single crochet there, and that is for 9. And then we're going to single crochet 8 around this eye. And so that's the 10th stitch. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and number 18 is our last stitch of round 3, and it will be right here in the middle chain stitch that we did our other single crochet in. Okay, here we go. Now we have 18 stitches connecting our eye sockets for round 3. We now have 18 around. Round 4 will be 18 single crochets in each stitch around. Take out our stitch marker, do a single crochet. We'll put that back for our first stitch in the round, and we're going to do 18, and that was 1, and this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're back here in the middle again for 9, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 as our last stitch on round 4, and that helped build our eyes up, and he's going to be a buggy eye frog. So cute. Round 5 will start our increase rounds. We'll have 3 increase rounds, and then we'll be adding on the arms. So round 5 will be 4 single crochets, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets, and then we'll do an increase right here in the 5th stitch. So that's 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Let me get this yarn fixed here. Then we're going to be doing 8 single crochets to get us to the other side of the froggy. It was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll be doing an increase, 2 singles in this stitch, and then this round will be concluded with 4 more single crochets, and that is round 5 with a total of 20 stitches now. Now in round 6, we will start off with 5 single crochets. That's 1. Place our stitch marker. 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets, and then we do our increase stitch, 2 in this next stitch, and then we're going to do 9 single crochets to the other side. That was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we will do an increase, 1 and 2. And we will conclude this round with 4 stitches. So we did 5, 9, and then 4. Just a little odd number, but don't worry, it works out just fine. Now, round 7 will be our final increase round. And we will also start off again with 5 single crochets. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do an increase, 1 and 2. We're going to do 10 single crochets to get to the other side. 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, 7. Come on, yarn, cooperate. 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to do a increase, 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And this round will end with 5 more single crochets. 3, 4, and 5. That is round the end of round 7 with 24 stitches, and our next round will be adding the arms. Okay, so round 8, and we're adding the arms, and don't worry, this is so easy. We'll get through this. We, if you notice, we have been putting our increases on the sides of the froggy. So let's turn our work back around. We're working him upside down. So we need to add our arm, we need to crochet over to this side. So we're going to crochet 6 single crochets over to the side. There's our first one. Put our stitch marker back on. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now if you squish them in half, you can see we are right here on the very side of the froggy. We are going to next chain 13 to make the arm. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We have our little arm coming out here. Try to keep the chain straight. We're going to do a 3 double crochet cluster into the 3rd chain from the hook. So we count back 1, 2, 3, our 3rd chain right there. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. We are not going to complete the double crochet. We're going to make a cluster of 3. So that was 1. So yarn over, insert into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. We have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, insert the hook, same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we have 4 chains on the hook. We have 3 partially done double crochets and then our chain that started it. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to close that. And we are going to slip stitch back down into the same stitch that we made our cluster in to close up his little hand. And so now we have a little froggy hand. We are going to slip stitch back down our chain 10 times because we have 10 chains left on the hook, the arm. So we're going to slip stitch 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we are going to single crochet right back down into the very next stitch on the body, right here, the very next stitch. We will do a single crochet to bring that arm back down to the body. And now we will be doing 11 single crochets over to the other side of the body. We did the 1 when we connected the arm back to the body, and we're going to do 11 more, so that would be 12 in total. So we're going to count to 11, not counting the 1. So 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, the yarn, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And we are going to make our other arm that's on the very opposite side of the body by chaining 13. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We're going to do a 3 double crochet cluster into the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. 3rd chain from the hook, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Same stitch, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We have 3 loops on the hook. One more time. Yarn over, insert in the same stitch and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2. We have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops and slip stitch back down into the same stitch that you made the cluster. And now we will slip stitch back down the arm to the body 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we will single crochet into the next stitch on the body right here, the very next stitch. Single crochet to bring that arm back down to the body. And we will be stitching single crochets 5 times back down to the end of this round 8. 4 and 5. Round 8 still has 24 stitches, but now we have our arms. Round 9, we will be doing 24 single crochets around. So let's start off with 1. Put our stitch marker back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we get to the arm here, we did 6 single crochets. We're going to push our arm down to the outside of the body, and we're going to do a single crochet right here into this stitch for the arm. So we're going to do, that was 7. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And there's our arm, our second arm. We're gonna hold him down and go in right here to do our next single crochet and single crochet to the end. And 24 single crochets for round 9. Round 10 is also 24 single crochets. Let me pull some of this yarn here. Let's see. Okay, maybe that's enough. Let's take out our stitch marker. Do our first stitch of round, what round did I say this was? Round 10. Round 10, 24 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Round 10, 24 stitches. Okay, so now before we move on to round 11, we are going to, if you are using safety eyes, now is the time to put them in. And you could have put them in really at any time up until this point, but we want to make sure we get them in before we go any further. It'll be even a little harder. Now you can use any kind of size eyes that you want and just play around with like what you think you might like. I have these little blue ones. Most people I see are doing their Leggy Froggies with just the big plain black. I don't know if you like that look or not, or something with a color, or something a little smaller. Do you want it to have a beady eye? See, even that little eye looks cute on it. You could embellish it with a little extra white or black yarn. Or, let's see, let's try the green eye. Are you liking any of these better than the others so far? I don't care for that either. So far, I guess I'm partial to this blue eye. Let's try the yellow. Oh, I really like that yellow eye. Maybe I'll use those. Let's see. Maybe. There's some other eyes. I let's see how these look. I bought these at Hobby Lobby. Excuse me. And they are specifically like frog eyes, right? See how they kind of protrude a little bit? They're kind of offset. And I don't know. I just can't get used to the way they look. I'm not sure if I like that or not. What I really like, and I will be doing a separate tutorial for this. What I really like are these eyes. These are my favorite eyes. I put them, very similar ones, on most of my amis. I use this eye. And so look for that separate tutorial if you'd like to do this. Now when I do the tutorial, I did it with a bigger yarn and a bigger hook. But for these, I would say this is like a very light 4, almost a DK, size 3 yarn with a 4mm hook. If you want to get a 1-inch eye, I think are perfect for these little froggies. So I may just leave these off. Well, no, for the sake of the tutorial, let's put on the safety eyes because I think that's what most people are going to do. So let's just grab these little, maybe these little black ones. We're just going to keep him plain and simple, and he's going to have these little black eyes. I may decide to do a little embellishing with some yarn, but we'll see. So you put your eyes in. It doesn't matter if you go front or back, whatever side, you know, they're all the same. The sides are the same, so just pick a side. And let's put our eyes on. Let me grab the backs. These were some very inexpensive box set of eyes that I got off of Amazon, and I probably would never buy them again. They have these little weird plastic backs, but you know, they serve a purpose and they were cheap. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure they're staying in the spot where I want them. And I'm gonna flip this inside out where we can see the backs of the eyes. I'm gonna stick a back on here. Push that down. Now, you know, they have a fancy push tool that you can get and all that, but I don't see a need for it. I do not see a need for that at all. Unless you have really, I just can't pick this up off of this. There we go. Unless you really need something, like if you have difficulty doing things with your hands. But that just popped right on there, both of those backs. Now I'll turn it right side out again. And we have our little black beady eyes. We'll start stuffing now. Let's just I just grabbed a little hunk of yarn there. Gonna make sure it's going up into the eyeballs, into the sockets. Why do I have a hard time saying that? And a little bit more in the body. And we'll stuff as we go, as we get a little closer to the end here. We can stuff some more in, so I just got it like that for now. Stuff it as firm or as soft as you want. I've made the mistake of not stuffing enough before, and so now I think I tend to overstuff and I make it too firm. So got to find that happy medium, right? Now we are ready to start round 11. So let's flip him back over, grab our hook, and round 11 we'll start our decrease rounds. We'll do 3 decrease rounds. So let's do 1. We're going to do 5 single crochets and then our decrease, 10 single crochets, decrease, and then 5 single crochets. So that was 1. Oops. I'm having an issue here. There we go. 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to do a decrease. Now I like to do invisible decreases. I just think it makes your project look better. It gives it a little less volume on that stitch, so you don't have like a little lump. Well, let me show you. To do an invisible decrease stitch, you will want to go under the first loop of these next 2 stitches. So you go under this loop, and you're going to bring your hook around, and then you're going to go under that loop. So that's where we're going to put our hook to grab the yarn. We're going to go under this first loop, just under the front loop of that stitch, under the front loop of the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, and yarn over and pull through all 3. And that was an invisible decrease stitch. Now we're going to do 10 singles. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's 10 single crochets to the other side, and we will be doing another invisible decrease stitch. First loop, grab the first loop on the second stitch, pull through all 3. Now we will finish out this round with 5 single crochets. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that was round 11, and we will have 22 stitches on round 11. Round 12 will be our second decrease round. Let's put in our first single crochet and mark that stitch. We will do 5 single crochets, decrease, 9 single crochets, decrease, and then 4 single crochets. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do our invisible decrease again under the front loop, under the second front loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Now we will do 9 singles to the other side. 2, 3, oopsie, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and we'll do a decrease, invisible decrease. And 4 stitches will end round 12. And you will have 20 stitches at the end of round 12. You can see it's starting to close in a little now. We're getting our little belly coming in. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more stuffing. Okay. Looking good, Froggo. Now let's move on to round 13. Get my yarn spaghetti mess over here a little loose. Okay. Round 13 is 4 single crochets, decrease, 8 single crochets, decrease, and then 4 single crochets. So let's do this. 1, and mark our beginning stitch. 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do our invisible decrease. 8 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and another invisible decrease. And 4 more stitches. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, and that is the end of row 13 for 18 stitches across at the bottom. Row 13. Okay, so now we're at round 14. Round 14, we'll be adding on the legs, and we also will be closing up the body at the same time. So we'll be pinching this shut and closing the body and adding our legs. Let's go. Turn it over here. I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and we will no longer be needing that. So we'll set it aside. So round 14 says to single crochet 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now just to show you here, we have our little frog body. His arms are on the sides and his legs will be right down here on these sides on the end. So if you squeeze his little body shut like that, that's how we will be sewing him up this way as we crochet. Let's turn him back around, and we had to do 6 single crochets to get to the side. And now we are going to start our first leg, which is a chain of 16. We chained 13 for the arms, we're chaining 16 for the legs, just to give them a little bit more length. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, we are also doing our 3 double crochet cluster at the end of this leg, so we count back to the 3rd stitch, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert in the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert in the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on the hook, and we will yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops, and we will slip stitch back down into the same stitch. I like to stretch out my little leg here so I can see my chain good, and maybe I need to zoom in a little more here. I'm not sure. We're going to slip stitch back down this chain to make his leg. I'm going to slip stitch 13. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We will be doing slip stitches now, closing up the body to get to the other side, and then we will be making our other leg. So we're going to go into this stitch right here, and we're going to slip stitch it over to here. So we're going to slip these together. Try to line up your stitches the best you can. We're going to slip in here, both stitches on both sides, and slip all the way across from stitch from one side to the other until we are almost to the end. We have to leave one more stitch to slip into after we make our second leg. So let's go ahead. I'm going to insert our hook into both sides, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull that all the way through for our slip stitch. And we'll do that all the way across. I don't even think I counted how many slip stitches you have to do. It really doesn't matter as long as you get over here and you get the body closed up without skipping any. And we're going to do this last slip stitch right here, and you can see that we still have one spot left where we can slip stitch right into right here. So we're going to go ahead and make our other leg, and when we get done with that leg, we're going to slip right here. And oh, you see how I think it's really cute how a lot of times the blanket yarn will curl up like that, especially if you do your stitches kind of tight, but you can give it a little tug if you want it to be more like that. Okay. Okay, let's make our second leg. Here we're going to chain 16, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Get away, yarn. Did I say 13? 14, 15, 16. Third chain from the hook, we're going to do our 3 double crochet cluster. 2 and 3, 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4, slip stitch back down in the same stitch, and we will slip stitch back down the leg 13 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 'oops, what did I do? Oh, I was going in the same stitch. 9, 10, 11. I made my chain a little tight, it appears. 12 and 13. But that's okay. This blanket yarn is so forgiving. And then you see we have our last stitch right here. We can slip stitch into both of those on both sides in that corner and do our little slip stitch. Then we can yarn over to make our knot. We're going to cut a little nice size of yarn to leave in this end just to make it easier. Oops, we're going to pull our yarn through right there and give it a little tug. Here we can thread our yarn on the needle. Gonna go in this side right here, bring it all the way through to the other side. Sometimes there's a little knot or a little something here. I just like to go right in there, bring it back out to the other side again. Give that a little snuggaroo, snug that in. And we can cut our yarn right here. And we have our very own Leggy Froggy. Let's get this out. There we go. And now he's all done, except for if you'd like to put some little blush cheeks and a little mouth right here, I will show you how to do it. Okay, I have 3 froggies here set up. Just wanted to show you when I was talking about doing their eyes, cheeks, and mouth. This froggy, you can see, has little blue safety eyes, light pink cheeks. His mouth was made with a worsted weight yarn. But this froggy's eyes were, I used the same color pink because I didn't have a darker pink. But then I just went and got a little blush, my makeup, and just made it a little darker. So I think that works. Now, her mouth was made with a thinner yarn, so you can kind of see the difference of how, you know, that's a little bit more pronounced. You can see the black thicker or thinner. So everything's totally preference or what you have on hand or any way you want to do it. You could even make it with a black blanket yarn, you know, you could. Okay, so just wanted to show you those 2 examples. And now we'll put this guy right here and try to zoom in a little bit more so I can show you how I do the cheeks and the mouth. Now I'm going to use this light pink blanket yarn, just a very small scrap. I did cut too much of it off here, so you don't need that much at all. So for the cheeks, I like them to be under the eyes, of course, and usually even with the sides of the eyes. So on this side and on this side, that's how big the blush will be. Same for this eye and this eye. So let's start there. So what I do, this is the way I do it. I don't know if this is the right way or what, but this is the way I do it. So I'm going to go in, if you want it right underneath the eye, like close to the eye or just a tad below, I'm just going to go in right here because this is the side of this eye. And I'm going to bring it all the way over to the side of this eye. Let me see if I can get that straighter. To the side of this eye. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to bring it all the way over to about right there. And I'm going to pull this yarn here, but I'm going to leave a tail sticking out right there. Now I'm going to go in on the side of this eye. I guess this blush might be a little big. And I'm going to go in right here to make my little blush. It's going to go across. And I'm going to put it inside and I'm going to come out right here by the front of this eye, this side of this eye. So I'm going to go in about right there. Let me turn this sideways so it's easier to manipulate the needle. Right there. And I'm going to come out right here. Maybe right there. Nope, I think I want to come over on this side of the stitch. Right there. And pull that through, and let's see how that looks on this eye. Got a little blush, so cute. And then we are going to take our yarn, because this is going to go over here, and we are going to tie it. We're going to tie a little knot as close to this hole as we can get. So since I cut way too much of this yarn, let me cut it, trim it so it'll be easier to deal with. So I'm going to make a little, tie a little knot. Does not have to be perfect, but I'm just going to try to get the little knot over here to this side. Okay. Now I'm going to thread both of these yarns back on my needle. If you can get both of them on there. If not, you can do this one at a time. Oh, and there we go. Okay, good. So I'm going to go back into this same hole where I tied my little knot and push that through to the other side of the body and pull that out. Now what that's going to do is pull that little knot back to the inside, and then I'm going to take my needle, come up underneath this and kind of just give it a little fluff. Just fluff up my little cheeks again. There we go. Fluffy fluff. And then we will just turn to the back here and trim this. Just kind of stick that in there and squishy, squishy, scratchy, squishy. And it goes, disappears right in there. Now we will put on our mouth. I kind of like this thin line of this mouth right here. So I'm going to use my smaller, skinnier yarn. my black to show you that. We thread it on my yarn needle right now. And how we are going to make sure we have our smile symmetrical, which nothing's ever really symmetrical when it comes to crochet because stitches get a little wonky. And anyway, so we want our smile to be start at the middle of the eye and end at the middle of the eye. So if you just try to go down from the middle of the eye down, one more stitch past the cheek, you can go in right here and bring it out right here underneath the middle of this eye, just like that. Oops, I had a long tail here. There we go. And again, we want to leave a tail here on this side because we are going to tie it again over here. But first, what we're going to do is, you know, we want our smile to be like that. If you want to smile, if you just want a straight line, do a little straight line. You know, nothing wrong with that. Or if you want to give him a frown, you could do that. I'll have to show you. I think I did put a frown on one of my frogs. Okay, so we're going to go back into the same beginning hole right here where we first went in, and we're going to come out one stitch down in the middle. And we're not going to pull that too tight because we want our yarn to come back down here. So now, in order to tack that down where our smile will stay like that, we are going to put our needle on, we want it to be on this side of the yarn, and we're going to go back down into the same hole. And that will tack that smile down. I just pulled my yarn out. Pardon moi. So we're going to put that back in there, and we're going to come out right here at the very beginning. So that is going to tack down our smile where now it will stay like that. And that's how I make my smile. Now again, we are going to tie a little knot here on this side of the smile, and then we will sew in those ends. And this is the way I do it. I know there's a lot of crocheters that don't knot their embroidery and things like that, and I'm just like, but why don't you knot it? Don't you want it to not come out? So I'm always worried that, you know, if I don't knot things, they don't stay good. But there we go. There's our little smile. Let's turn him over and trim that black and give it a little tug and push it down so it might pop back in there. Yep. And there is our froggy. Let me zoom back out. Here's his friend. Look for the tutorial for these eyes if you'd like those. I think it's still adorable with the black safety eyes, or even a colored safety eye. I think they're adorable. So I hope that you have fun making this. And if you do, I'd love to see it. Okay, thanks y'all. Be blessed. One more quick thing. I gave my froggy a little belly button. It's so cute. It's just a little French knot with blanket yarn. I think it's adorable. It would probably look even cute in a different color. Thank y'all so much for watching or following along with this tutorial. And don't forget, I would love to see the Leggy Froggy you made and what colors you chose or how you made the face or eyes. I would love to see all that. If you want to follow along with the eye tutorial, that should be up very soon. And if you're watching this video in the future, it's already up. So, y'all be blessed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.